Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to church on such a glorious Sunday morning. So grateful you're here, and those of you online as well, welcome. We're going to start our service right now by singing our opening chant, One with the One. I live, I move, I have my being in God. I am, God is, I am one with the one. You live, you move, you have your being in God. You are, God is, you are one with the one. We live, we move, we have our being in God. We are, God is, we are one with the one.
Good morning. My name is Carol Winokur, and I am a practitioner here at the North Hollywood Church. And we are delighted that you have joined us in person and online via Zoom or our YouTube channel and Facebook Live. If you are live streaming this service, please enter your location into the chat so that we can see where you are watching from. And for those who are here in person, please take a moment now to silence your cell phones. Thank you. So now let us pray. Join me as I know that there is only one power, one energy, one life. We call it God by many names and no name. It is all that there is, and it is a power for good that we are using all the time. I absolutely know that we are graced by this goodness, by this power, by this energy that is always available. So when we turn our awareness on it, it is fully there for us. I accept that this good is here right now at this time at our church service, our Sunday morning beautiful church service. And it shows up by means of our fabulous musicians and soloists who play for us so brilliantly. I know that this goodness shows up for us by means of everyone who gives of their time to make this time possible for us. There's a lot of work that goes on, and we are grateful for that. And I know that this one goodness, this one life shows up by means of Reverend Sydney, who has made herself available for God's divine inspiration to speak through her for each and every one of us. We are uplifted by it. We are enriched by it. We hear exactly the message we each need to hear today. And I know that Reverend Sydney speaks to us with her usual grace and eloquence and absolute inspiration. We are grateful for her and for everything that transpires today here in our church service. Thank you. Thank you, Mother, Father, Spirit, for this time and our church community. And with a heart filled with gratitude, I release this word to the law of mind, and I know it's done. And so it is. And together we say, Amen. Be still and know that I am God. Be still. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, be still, be still and know that
still and know that I am loved. Be still and know that I am loved. Be still. Be still. Be still and know that I am peace. Be still and know that I am peace. Be still and know that I am peace. Be still. Be still. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still. Be still. Be.
Please rise and join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Please remain standing for our congregational song. Joy and peace in my heart, always I feel joy and peace in my mind, God within reveal, joy and peace in my life. I am one with God, I know the truth. I am one with creation and one with you. There is no separation between all that is. I am one. Joy and peace in my heart. Always I feel joy and peace in my mind. Joy within reveal. Joy and peace in my life. I am Spirit dwells within me, guides all I do. It infuses my life with the light I am new. I am rich with abundance of all that is good. All is good. Joy and peace in my heart. Always I feel joy and peace in my mind. God within reveal joy and peace in my life. I am
You may be seated. We are now going to meditate for the next 5 minutes. I invite you to close your eyes and silently repeat the mantra, God's the love that I am. If your mind wanders, just bring it back silently to repeating, God's the love that I am, and I will bring us out of meditation in 5 minutes.
Bless this day when seasons change. Winter, spring can be so strange. Stay with the source of it all, way past fall. Bless this day of morning dew, filled with many points of view. Round and round it goes on all day long, like a sense of spring, all the newness, things rising up, springtime sings. Time to begin with your heart, time to reveal the next part of everything. Has a sense of spring. Bless this day when flowers bloom, pulled from earth through sun and moon. Nurture them with your desire, just takes time. Bless this day when water flows, melted from the river froze. Moving begins with excitement, intention, like a sense of spring, all the newness, things rising up, springtime sings. Time to begin with your heart. Kindness is in the best parts of everything. Has a sense of spring. There's a sense of spring. So bless this morning. Bless this time. Bless this moment. Bless this life with a sense of spring. Spring. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that'll get us there, won't it? That's lovely. Before I dive into my talk, I want to tell you that we are really, really honored to be celebrating kind of a landmark thing. 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, when we dove into this thing called COVID, quarantine, our then president of our board of trustees, Blair, had this inspiration to keep people connected and to help them covenant with love and not fear. And so he spoke with Reverend Mark LaPonce, and together, along with a number of other people, they created our daily meditation, our online Zoom meditation. Now, this is really powerful because they started doing it, and it's 6 days a week. It's Monday through Saturday, and it's on Zoom, as I said, and it starts at 7:55 and goes to 8:15. Am I correct? Yes, I'm getting the nod from Terry. I usually sleep a little longer. But the thing about this is the people who started it continued and have been doing it every day, and they have not lessened their commitment. If anything, they have grown the commitment. And we have something like 30 to 40 people or more every day as participants in that. And I want to honor the practitioners, and Reverend Mark, Lynn Romanowski, and all of those people who coordinated to create and to sustain that consciousness and that practice together, because I am certain that's why we are still here today. So let's honor them, shall we? Their official start day was May 4th. And this is continuing. If you have not had a chance to participate in this, it's really, really, it's very powerful. And what a way to start your day. Okay. Last week, let's see, do we have, so yeah, we've got that picture up there. Last week, we went swimming with, in the ocean with Rumi, Ernest Holmes, Meister Eckhart, and Buddha. And many of you found yourselves floating with a quote that I offered about the definition of the word faith. Let's go to that first slide then, Timothy. Faith is, oh no, there it is. Faith is the perceiving power of the mind linked with the power to shape substance. Faith is the perceiving power of the mind linked with the power to shape substance. And so many of you talked to me afterwards or called me or emailed me saying, that just blew my mind. And I know, it blows my mind too. And here's the full quote from Charles Fillmore. Next slide, please. Faith is the perceiving power of the mind linked with the power to shape substance. It's spiritual assurance, the power to do the seemingly impossible. It is a magnetic power that draws unto us our heart's desire from the invisible spiritual substance. Faith is a deep inner knowing that that which is sought is already ours for the taking. And it comes from the idea that faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of that which is not seen. So this is so powerful, and it's not like the things which are taking, which we go, that's mine, I want that. It's not grabby, greedy, but it's knowing that we are already vibrationally aligned, that we are already one in consciousness with the knowing and with our sense of worthiness and connection with God, that which we desire is already for us to express. You know, it's the idea that that thing, that dream, that desire is knocking on the very door of your soul to say, hey, I'm here. This is the good that's possible. Let's go for it. And that everything, just as an acorn, everything is contained within it in order to go forward and to unfold and reveal that greater good, that blessing which we seek. So I love this teaching because this whole teaching allows us to grow and expand and to bless others in the process. And that's really important. You know, more and more Dr. Mark and I are talking about the global, or universal impact of how you and I are stepping into our spiritual awareness and how doing that blesses others. Because we are raising the consciousness. We are raising everything that we do. And that stepping into that power, that strength, that presence which is within us, which inhabits us, allows us to make choices and decisions that are greater and that involve other people, that are based in compassion and giving and service, and not just God as a vending machine, right? The teaching has definitely matured since I remember first getting into it in the late, oh my gosh, early 70s? Anyway. As a kid, it has matured. We have gone from that sense of God give me, God give me, God miffy, you know, all of that. I have to have my new car. It's not that. It's that we are now seeking those ways that we can bless everybody along the path of our own expansion and growth. It's important that we understand that this really is about demonstrating more than really good parking places at Costco. And although it's that too, right? It is our collective intention to live as solutions, not problems, right? To live as solutions, knowing that in each question there is the answer right there within it. And that we live as compassionate beings, not whiny jerks who think of God as that vending machine. Or as Dr. Mark has said, we tend to think of God as some sort of combination of, thank you, bellboy, Santa Claus, and hitman, right? So we would like to allow God to mature as we mature. When we leave behind the distractions, and they are the distractions of our little selves, our greed, our fears, our neurosis, and self-obsessions, it can be as if those scales fell from our eyes, right? And so in spiritual terms, we call this awakening to our oneness, awakening to that which is already there, and honoring our shared divinity. In other words, we free up a whole lot of mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual bandwidth to be of service to others and to bless them. When we stop obsessing on what we want or what we don't have and start to nurture what we do have, our innate connection with and as the divine, right? Okay, so just a little warning, I'm going to talk about the Bible now. So if you need to bolt, I hope you will stay long enough for a couple of disclaimers. My topic is Noah, what were you thinking? Now this is important. You know, every now and again, I like to challenge myself to offer a perspective that is relevant and is useful to the lives we are living today. Spirituality is useless if it's just observable. If we're just looking at it from, wow, that's interesting, or what a historical thing that must have been, if we keep it in that realm, it actually becomes just something that's self-serving and functions as ego gratification. That's not spirituality, it's narcissism. There's a big difference. So we want to move well beyond that. If we can take what we learn and start to make decisions and choices in the direction of more love, more connection, more peace, and more compassion, then we are absolutely not just lifting ourselves up, but we are lifting the world and changing the vibration and healing, as we like to say, healing the planet or creating a world that works for everyone. So, of all of the Bible stories that annoy me the most, Noah is right up there with Jonah and the whale. That's why I decided I needed to look at this. Seriously, by the way, a whale, a guy living inside it for 3 days. Okay, now, I actually get that there's some deep metaphysical meaning there, and that's for another day. But a whale, come on, there's more to it than that. So, next picture. That's it. When we think of Noah, we think of this guy, this MGM movie kind of guy, or Russell Crowe, that kind of works. He did one. We either go to a dramatic image of this guy waving his arms and the animals submissively walking up the ramp, or, next picture, we think of the childhood imaginings of this guy. Right? We go to that. A bunch of playful, cartoony elephants and monkeys and lions and teddy bears. Now, since both of these make me want to run screaming from the room, I'm going to assume that a lot of you might feel the same way. So, by the way, while we're on this subject, other than at the San Diego Zoo or Griffith Park, in what part of ancient Israel did Noah find not just geese, bunnies, and Guernsey cows, that one right at the end, right? But also giraffes, zebras, elephants, and those perfectly hewn logs of firewood? Are you kidding me? So, all right, let's move to the next one, and we'll just rest there for a while. You and I are adults, right? We need to have relationships with wisdom texts, whether it's the Bible or the Torah or anything like that, that will acknowledge our incredibly magnificent capacities to think and to ask questions. We need to ask those questions. It's really important. That's how we grow. So for me, the question isn't so much, Noah, what were you thinking? Although that's certainly at residence within me. But instead, what is the relevant and useful meaning for this life, my life, your life here and now? So that's why we look at the metaphysical meaning. You know, we go beyond the historical and the literal. And if you go there, that's fine. I have no problem with that. I choose to look at some other meanings. I like to broaden the perspective so I have greater context. So stay in the land of the literal or historical. I bless you in that, and awesome. But as I researched and worked to put this talk together, I found something really interesting. So I want to offer it first as kind of a context. It's from Anne Lamott. And I bet a number of you have read Anne Lamott's writing. She's really, really wonderful. And her words for God include God, Spirit, and Great Universal Spirit, GUS, aka Gus. Okay? So there is one life, that life is Gus, that life is perfect. Isn't that awesome? Especially if you're someone who kind of goes, oh God, thank God we're, you know, because many of us grew up in teachings or in households that turned God into the enemy and not a loving presence that blesses and supports and seeks expression through us. But I digress. Okay. The story of a cataclysmic flood is found throughout the ancient world. Sumerians told flood stories. The Africans told flood stories. The Babylonians, the Lemurians, all of them have flood stories and mythologies. Now, the reason for this is that those ancient cultures were trying to explain and understand the horrible apocalyptic events that could not be controlled or managed by them. These things that would happen, you know, and we all have this thing in common where it's an earthquake or a pandemic or a volcano or a plague or whatever that thing is that we, you know, meteor strikes. We want to blame it on angry gods. And that, for the ancient cultures, answered the why. Why is this happening? Why doesn't God fix it? Why is this happening? Why doesn't God fix it? Now, I know for myself that absolutely still exists within me, where something happens, whether it's a big major catastrophe or something in my own life that I look at and go, oh my God, why is this happening? Why doesn't God fix it? There's still that vestige of help me, God, help me, save me, rescue me. And that's that same idea. But the idea is that numerous gods seeking revenge for humanity's bad behavior kind of made sense to the cultures when nothing else did. And I guess part of the idea is that having a great flood to clear the decks of the bad people and just start over seemed like a really convenient rationalization to the ancient Babylonians and Sumerians, right? And that's kind of what we look at when we traditionally have studied Noah and the ark. We go, well, God was just over it. God was done, just said, that's it, you guys, we're starting over. But the difference with Noah, and this is important, and again, I'm looking at the metaphysical, is Noah made a deal with God. Noah had a covenant with God. That covenant was a divine agreement with that God presence, that light, that power, that God identity within. It was the covenant with Noah's own sacred, holy, and original spark of divinity. So know that prior to that, the covenant, whether conscious or unconscious, with all cultures, was a covenant with fear, a covenant with suspicion and superstition. It was a covenant with doubt. It was a covenant with hopelessness and helplessness. The difference is that Noah, who, by the way, the Hebrew translation for Noah is rest. It is rest. So the covenant that Noah made was with love. Noah symbolizes and represents that part of us as we grow from the superstition and the fear and the doubt and the helplessness that we seem to perceive ourselves and all humanity. Noah symbolizes that place where we covenant instead with love. We covenant instead with the presence and the power, and not fluffy unicorn pink fairy dust love, but the kind of love that is active, that heals, that is fully present, and that is the truth of who we are. The love that motivates us to choose those things and those behaviors that bless society, that lift other people. The love that we covenant with is the same kind of love that many of us here experience and are driven by, really driven by, to feed the homeless once a month, and to gather food, to gather blankets, to gather clothes, so that we might elevate their experience in the world. That's the love. So the difference is strong. Now, Noah means rest. His father, Lamech, the Hebrew word Lamech means strength, standing. So if we look at his father, his source, Noah resting in the strength, resting in that presence, the strength of his source, of his father, of that which is the truth of him, his anchor. And that is why we look at these stories, because each name, each person in the Bible represents a part of us. It represents our own process, our psychology, our love, our fear, our growth. Now, I'm not a big Bible fan. I didn't grow up with big Bible stuff, and I tend to not go there, except that I find these wonderful places of wisdom that I didn't know existed. And it makes it fun. It makes it a lot more fun, and it gives me deeper context. Now, you don't have to be the Bible person. I do it so you don't have to, okay? So, Noah agreed to rest in the presence of love, to rest in and surrender to the knowingness of his oneness with God, his oneness with Gus. Even in the midst of chaos, even in the midst of confusion, even in the midst of a flood of error, be that erroneous behavior, erroneous thinking, erroneous ideas, stuff out in the world. Anybody see a lot of stuff in the world that sometimes feel like it's coming at you like a flood? And that's what it is. When we turn away from the earthly world of ego, fear, and greed and turn back to divine truth, we are building and reinforcing a consciousness of oneness with Gus, the great universal spirit. We become builders of our own inner ark. That is the idea. It's not about the boat. It's not about the boat. So here's where some fun comes in. All of those animals, they're us too. They're you and me too. You and I must embrace and love our animal natures. We all have animal natures. The part of us that is stubborn like a donkey, ferocious and reactive like a lion, meek like a bunny, or endlessly chattering like a monkey. Anybody know chattering monkeys? Yeah, yeah, I know. We all have those parts in us. So just for example, consider the donkey. Untrainable, unteachable, and absolutely resistant to another's will. We all have that part within us. Anybody, right? Sound like anyone you know? And yet that's the animal that Jesus chose to ride into the city of Jerusalem 4 days in a row, by the way. We never think about that or know that. He did it 4 times, riding this and disciplining and training his animal nature to respond, even though it's not supposed to be teachable, trainable, and is fully resistant. He still did that. And again, it is the lesson from that. That is all of us. Whether you accept and go with the history of that or not, it doesn't matter. But the lesson is there, which is that we each have our animal natures. And if we allow them to be the bigger part of us, if we covenant with that part of us, if we covenant with the fear, if we covenant with the resistance and the stubbornness and the inability to be expanded, then that's the experience that we have in this world. Yet if we covenant with that part of us that is the greater truth, our God presence, then we get to move into a world of dynamic, magnificent expression and creation. Does that make sense? Are we here? Yeah. Okay, great. So what about the story of Noah bringing male and female of every species of animals onto the big boat? And again, not just our animal natures invited into that higher consciousness, but it also represents our very own human polarities, okay? So as we grow in our awareness of our connection with God, we have to include in loving acceptance our polarities and the polarities of life itself, our ups and our downs, our male energies and our female energies, our positives and our negatives, our grace and our craziness, because we are all of it. We are all of it. And that's what is meant by that masculine and feminine, the male and the female. Bring in the lions, the male and the female, bring in the bunnies. It's all of that because we are all of that. We are both the positive and the negative and everything in between on that polarity. Noah's Ark symbolizes the spiritual part of you and me, built in the midst of a flood of error, or in the midst of whatever and whomever is working our last nerve in our daily lives. Without the ark, we do not have a place to rest and to remind ourselves of our strength and our ability to stand and anchor in truth. So Noah, as son of Lamech, was able to be that anchor, was able to stand in that which he had inherited. You and I are the heirs to the truth, and we are those creations. That which is true about God is true about you and me. We hear that phrase a lot, that we are created in the image and likeness, and to let that mind be in us. And that's that idea. That is just another idea. Every story in there, every story throughout the Bible is about us recognizing our connection, our divinity. That's what it is. It's all about us coming to terms with it and remembering to remember. Now, this is interesting, and it has nothing to do with this, except that the first part of Genesis, the whole garden thing, was written about 300 years after the rest of Genesis. And Satan is never actually mentioned in the Bible. It's a talking snake, or rather in the book of Genesis, just a talking snake. A talking snake. Not Satan, talking snake. Now, there are a lot of stories with talking snakes. There are a lot of stories. We are the ones who bring the interpretation, and we bring that idea of evil or betrayal or fear or superstition or God waiting to just smite us, smirt us, whatever. We're the ones who bring that. That's our interpretation. But we are here to build an ark on the scientific understanding of the wisdom, presence, and power of God, and on the affirmations of what we are in spirit as spiritual beings. Now just think about that for a minute. We build an ark on the scientific, this teaching is called religious science, the science of mind, capital M mind, universal, great, infinite intelligence mind, so on the scientific understanding of the wisdom, presence, and power of God, and on the affirmation of what we are as spiritual beings. That deep, peace-filled ease in which we all long to live is the peace that passes all understanding when we wake up to that innate connection with God. Emerson wrote of longing for a firsthand and immediate experience of God. And so we are here to covenant with love, to let that be the authority, to let that be which guides us, to let that be which inspires us as we move into the world and bless other people and understand other people. That divine authority within. So are we going to covenant with fear and covenant with, oh my God, I'm out of control, there's nothing I can do? Or are we going to covenant with, who am I to be in this? Who am I to be? What am I to know? Which is going to be the authority? Eric Butterworth wrote of this, and he has this wonderful book that he wrote called Breaking the 10 Commandments. I love this book. He wrote, what you acknowledge to be your master, to that you are a servant. So, it refers not to just what's happening around you, but to the things that are established within you. Okay? And he writes further, our attitudes, our mental aberrations are like stone figures which have been ensconced with reverence in the various alcoves of our minds. He says, there they sit in regal splendor, asserting their power in our unguarded moments. So check to see if you have any of these in your mental alcoves. Some phrases like this. That's just the way he is. She is weak. What can you expect? You can't trust anyone. Some people get all the breaks. The little guy doesn't have a chance. Those are those things to which we give our authority. We covenant with that. That's sucky. Or maybe you have unconsciously transformed some of these sentences or ideas into, okay, this is really cool. Sacred cows. Moses came down from the hill with his tablet, 2 tablets, and he found all of his people dancing and idolizing and worshiping a calf, a gold calf, a sacred cow. A sacred cow, that's where that idea comes from. It was this horrible idolatry saying that that's where the power is, but they had covenanted with that instead of the truth of their being. So here's the sacred cow that I know I find sometimes. For a person of my age, that's one. Office politics, that's a sacred cow. I was very sick as a child, that's a sacred cow. The phrase born loser, born lucky, or how about this one? I must be getting old. These are these sacred cows that we covenant with. We give them the authority in our life. And the thing is, within each of us is the unborn possibility of limitless life. But as long as we are holding any of these ideas to be our master, we are standing in our own way. We are not taking responsibility for our thinking, and we are frustrating our own divine potential. What is the authority? Is it love? Is it fear? What is the authority in your life? When my son was a little boy, he was probably 3.5 or 4 years old, he was riding in the car with my husband in his car seat in the back seat, and he had been a pain in everybody's rear end that day. He had, he's 3 years old. That's his job description. And he just went on, and it had just been so difficult. And my husband was taking him to preschool. And finally, out of just complete frustration, he said, okay, Forrest, that's it. When you get home today, no TV for the rest of the day. No TV, nothing, no TV. And here's this kid's awareness of authority. There was silence for a moment, and then he said, does Mom know about this? Where is your authority? To what or whom are you covenanting with? This is your invitation to make a new agreement. Tear up the old contract. Create a new covenant with yourself to rise above the flood of confusion, the flood of error thinking, and the flood of limitation that surrounds you, because the world will absolutely try to flood you with limitation and doubt. So dedicate yourself to building your own ark within all of this that causes you to rise above, and it's anchored in the true spiritual knowing that there is one life, that life is God, and that life is your life and my life now. And so it is. Let's take this into prayer, shall we? All right. We do indeed recognize that there is one life. That life is God. That life is beautiful. That life is absolutely perfect and whole, and it is the truth of who and what we are. It is the truth. We recognize that which is both source and substance, creator and created for this entire universe. Everything that is seen and not seen is God expressing. So we allow ourselves now to be fully invested in that, to be fully engaged in that, to surrender to the truth, which means not to give up, but to open up to the great awareness that right where we are, God is. And God is as love, as creation, as possibility, as divine inspiration, as brilliance, magnificence, as wholeness, as healing, as physical healing, as abundant source, as absolute clarity, as faith. Knowing that this faith is the truth of our being. It is our mind linked with that infinite power to shape substance. And so we do that now, claiming our divine authority, claiming our divinity, and affirming that we are truly, truly one with and one of. Oh, infinite Spirit. So as we know this for ourselves, I am certain that it is blessing this world. We know this for this church, for all churches, all paths to God, all mosques, synagogues, ashrams, all temples, that the truth is that God is everywhere equally present and cannot be limited by anyone, including us. That God will not be limited. So with that knowing, we know that we are unlimited, and that anyone who is in our circle of family or friends or relationship or just simply on our mind is embraced in this knowing that God is fully present where they are, that God is active where they are as love, as peace, as wholeness, as compassion, as that which they need, because this is infinite intelligence. We allow this love to surround our entire planet and to elevate all of us into a divine knowing that we covenant with the highest truth, that God is all there is. God is all we are, and we choose now to live and to see that, to know it, and to be that with every breath, with every thought, with every choice, with every part, with every action of our lives. So with great gratitude, I release this prayer into the law of mind, God's law, knowing that it absolutely, absolutely, absolutely is creating all that is necessary to express in this wonderful, magnificent, dynamic wholeness right here and right now. And so it is. And together we say, Amen.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so.
So now is the time when we invite you to share your tithes, your gifts, your love offerings. So would you place them in your hand, hold it to your heart, and say with me, from the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and belief. It does good work in the world and it returns to me multiplied abundantly. Amen.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. All that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. So So this is a little audience participation song, okay? You guys say that, hey, hey, hey. I'll tell you what. When you wake up tired, but you got 8 hours of sleep. It's not 'cause you've been burning the midnight oil. You just forgot that what you sow, you reap. Woo! Success is not about all the shortcuts and stepping on someone's toes. Plant a seed and just be patient. Watch the richness grow and grow. So just get aligned within yourself. Get right with Spirit's help. 'Cause harmony is co-creation. Here it comes. And all it takes is your intention. Hey, hey, hey. That's what I say. Oh, yeah. When traffic is barely moving and someone gets up under your skin, coffee's not the reason that you feel rage. Just check the internal state you're in. When your mind is heavy with all the things you think you should do, remember that you got choices and belief in what is true for you. So just get aligned within yourself. Get right with Spirit's help. 'Cause harmony is co-creation. And all it takes is your intention. Hey, hey, hey. Get right with Spirit's help. 'Cause harmony is co-creation. And all it takes is your intention. Hey, hey, hey. Spirit's fostering, humans processing. That's the way it works when you're aligned within yourself. Get right with Spirit's help. 'Cause harmony is co-creation. And all it takes is your intention. Just get aligned within yourself. Get right with Spirit's help. 'Cause harmony is co-creation. And all it takes is your intention. Hey, hey, hey. That's what I say. Do that again. Hey, hey, hey. That's what I say. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Sam and Karen, thank you so much.
Wow, thank you. That was rousing. Thanks to our soloist, Dennis Bryan. Thanks to our media team, our fabulous media team, all over there, and our band, our musicians over here, Sam and Karen. Thank you so much. Okay, I have to do this before the announcements. Noah, what were you thinking, inviting 2 termites onto a wooden boat? Okay.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay. Announcements for today. If this is your first time at our church, we are delighted that you are here. Please stop by the welcome table on the patio to pick up a packet of information just for you. To make donations to our church through our text, you can use our text to give number, the QR code, or through our website, nhcrs.org/give. Prayer with a practitioner is available after service in person and on Zoom. Every Sunday morning at 9:45, our junior church is open to kids from toddler to teen and in between, as they are thriving. Our Wednesday Taizé service with practitioner Joanne O'Brien is this week. Meditation at 6:50. The service is at 7 p.m. Join us this week for a wonderful evening of chanting, meditation, and prayer. There will be a potluck following, so please bring a dish to share. Or not, and just enjoy the potluck. Gourmets for God update. Pick up your tickets today. Please visit the Gourmets for God table on the patio to find out the events that you won. You will be able to pick up and pay for your tickets right then. Thanks to all who are hosting events and all who bid. This is our biggest fundraiser of the year, and we are grateful for everyone's enthusiastic participation. And as Reverend Sidney talked about, we have a morning meditation group 3-year anniversary on Thursday, May 4th. Our morning meditation group, yes, absolutely, on Zoom. That's when I walk my dog, gosh. We will have been meeting every Monday through Saturday for 3 straight years, including all holidays. Reverend Mark LaPonce leads this ministry with support from practitioners in training, and many of our congregation's dedicated meditators. We congratulate all of them and thank them for holding the high watch for our community and the world since the beginning of the pandemic. What a blessing. All are welcome to join. The group meets from 7:55 to 8:15 a.m. Monday through Saturday, and the Zoom link is on our website. The Women's Group Annual Tea Party, Sunday, May 7th at 1 p.m. in the Youth Church. Wear your tea party hats. Bring a tea party type food to share, such as tea sandwiches, small quiche, scones, small cupcakes, and other creative food items. We will have many beautiful tablescapes, too, provided by our members. Please sign up today on the patio or on Facebook under NHCRS Women's Group. The Creative Arts Ministry presents the NHCRS Short Film Festival, Saturday, May 20th, 5 through 7 p.m. We have some wondrously talented and diverse filmmakers in our North Hollywood Church family, and several have joined forces to feature a showcase of some delightful and meaningful short films. In addition, to heighten the film festival experience, they plan to serve some cinematic treats. We always do food: hot dogs, meat and vegan, popcorn, and other delights. The evening will also include a Q&A with the filmmakers. Tickets are $20 and are available online and on the patio. Also, we have our Elder Wisdom Group, facilitated by Reverend Tricia Klink, meets this Wednesday, May 3rd, 10 to 12 in the Ernest Holmes Room. We have a Zoom virtual patio before and after Sunday and Wednesday services, and you can visit our website. Again, it's nhcrs.org to obtain Zoom links and more information about all of our events and to sign up for weekly e-blasts and monthly newsletters. Thank you.
All right. If you are a practitioner, would you please step forward? And these people are available to hold that consciousness and to pray for you and with you. And let's sing.
Yeah, let's all stand up and sing. Each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
Would you please repeat after me? Yeah, applaud, absolutely. I am at home in the heart of God. I am at home in the heart of God. My life is anchored in truth. My life is
and true.
I can never be separate.
I can never be separate.
I live in the consciousness of peace.
I live in the consciousness of peace.
I release all fear.
I release all fear.
I am living love.
I am living love.
Amen.
Amen.